Hi, my name is Natalie Havens. I am a school counselor here at Spanish River. Welcome to Coffee with the Counselors. The topic for this morning is course selections for the 2024-2025 school year. Thanks so much if you're joining us live. If you're watching this recording, hopefully you can get some great information on this as well. We have a couple counselors on here. We've got Mrs. Wheatley. She's going to be presenting today. We have Mrs. Solid. Go ahead and say hi out loud so the camera catches you.
Hello, good morning.
And we've got Dr. Allen on here. I'm not sure if she's on there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Mrs. Wheatley's going to be presenting. I might pop on with any, information tidbits as well. Go ahead and take it away, Mrs. Wheatley.
Hi, good morning. Okay, so thank you guys for joining us this morning with our Coffee with the Counselors. We're going to be talking about course selection. So we did talk with the students last week about this in the theater in their English classes last week, and they selected their elective choices. They may still be making some kind of final decisions. I know that we reopened the form for them like kind of yesterday. So if they're kind of finally submitting, making a little bit of adjustments, that's okay. But as for their core classes, the way that the process works here at Spanish River is there are 4 core classes. They're English, their math, their science, and their social studies. Those are selected based on teacher recommendations here. So their current year teachers view their test scores, their performance, and kind of them in the classroom, and they recommend their placement for next school year in those classes, okay? And then afterwards, so after the school year ends, administration reviews all of those recommendations, and they'll, like after grades are finalized, after test scores are done, and they'll make sure that they agree with those placements and that all of those are appropriate. And then they'll kind of finalize those decisions for those core classes. Students did fill out the Google form request for their electives. So there's 4 core classes, and then they're left with 3 elective slots typically after that. So they filled out the Google form request for those electives after that. That was due last Tuesday, although we did open up that form for a couple of stragglers after that. So.
Yep, and there were on the form, just so parents understand, it's only available to submit one time. Has to be through the student email, and there are 6 choices because, like Mrs. Wheatley said, they'll have 3 electives on their schedule. However, if any are not available, we like backup options, so we don't have to choose the backup option. So that's why they choose 6.
Correct. Thank you, Ms. Havens.
Sure.
Okay, so this is kind of what we went over with them last week in their English classes. This is the course selection guide. We can kind of go over that a little bit and view that. And we'll go through some of the options, some of the information here as well. So it's really handy. I think you guys will have access to this as well, so you guys can always review this and see it for your own information as well. So going through it, starting with, here you go. Thank you. Perfect.
So I'm showing you how you click on tabs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's really nice. Yeah. Perfect. So we do have some academies here on campus. I don't know if any of you guys have your students in an academy, but we have 4 academies. We have biotech, we have entrepreneurship, history and law, and early childhood. So one of their elective slots, if they're in an academy, one of their elective slots is taken up by that academy course. There is a course progression, so they have to go through from one to the next. Those kind of are predetermined by the academy course progression. We'll go through those in just a minute here as well. So if they're in that, then one of those elective slots are taken up by those. As for graduation requirements, so for the standard 24 credit high school diploma, you do need 4 English credits, you need 4 math credits, you need 3 science credits, 3 social studies credits, including that world history, US history, half credit of economics, half credit of government. You need the performing arts credit, you need the physical education credit, and then 8 credits of elective. As for freshmen starting this year, there's also an addition of the half credit of that personal financial literacy credit as well. In addition to the 24 credits, you also need to maintain at least a 2.0 grade point average. That's just for graduation purposes. You also need 20 hours of community service. And then you also need your test scores. So we have the reading test scores and the math test scores as well. There's a couple different ways to meet those, but typically it's your algebra and your math and your reading. Now, with those, there's also your scholar designation and your by literacy seal. So your scholar designation, the main thing with those is you meet pretty much all of those throughout your 4 years here in high school. The only thing that would be extra, I believe, is taking the equally rigorous course, statistics or an equally rigorous course. Everything else kind of happens along the way. Scholar designation is just kind of one additional thing that students can do to put on their college applications to make them stand out. It's not necessary. It's not something that like you have to do, but it's just kind of something bonus you could do to go for. As for your GPA, so as I was saying, you need that 2.0 GPA to graduate, right? The way that GPA works, right? So a GPA is an average of all of your final grades here on campus and in your classes, right? So you have your unweighted GPA and then your weighted GPA, also called like your cumulative GPA or your honors GPA. They have a couple different names there, I know, on SIS, but so the way that those can be factored, they're on the right side of on the screen there, you can see. So the unweighted is that regular column there. So all of your classes are on the same point scale, no matter what level of class that they are, whether it's regular level, honors level, or college level, they're all on that same point scale. And A is worth 4 points no matter what it is. As for the weighted GPA, that's when things can get into like all of the different weights, right? So your honors classes are worth all of those weights, your college level are worth all of those weights, and then your regular classes are worth all of those weights, and then all of those are averaged together. Again, this is your final grades, not quarter grades, not current grades, only final grades in your classes. Something to note here is bright futures and universities typically want to use your HPA. This is your weighted GPA. Okay, this is the second GPA that you can see on SIS there. Okay. As for the ACE diploma, all right, you can see this on your screen here. Again, you guys will have access to this. So if you want to like view this more closely, and you can click on these to kind of view them up and blow them up on your screen as well. The way to earn your ACE diploma is you have to earn 7 points in the 4 categories across 3 years. There's a couple different ways to go about doing that, but there's the 4 categories there here. The main thing to do it, like the main reason to earn your ACE diploma here is that ACE diploma secures you bright futures. Bright futures secures you 100% free tuition. So that's like the main benefit. It's amazing, amazing, amazing to Florida students here. There is a way you can get bright futures without going for the ACE diploma, and that's on that right side screen there is all of those qualifications otherwise. There is those GPA requirements, which is in only your 16 core classes. Something to note, it's not your main weighted GPA, it's your weighted GPA in those core credits, and also your test scores, the ACT, the SAT, or the CLT, and then your community service hours. Again, if you get the ACE diploma, you don't have to worry about the GPA requirements or the testing requirements. You only have to get those service hours in.
Yes, awesome. So if you do have a senior this year, they should apply for Bright Futures. If they're not sure to qualify, they should apply. It opened up in October and it goes throughout the school year, so make sure to remind them to apply.
So here's our academy information, right? So like I was saying, those classes are set kind of on a core curriculum throughout your 4 years here. It's kind of predetermined for you. So you can kind of see the progression here. There's the law progression and then all the rest of the academies as well. You can kind of talk with those with your student well if you have any questions as well, but they're kind of predetermined and make sense as you go. So if I have any 9th grade parents here, they kind of all follow the same format here. What's nice about the curriculum guide, the course selection guide here that we have is they all have these videos here. If you want to go back to this and you have any questions about anything, you can always view that video to kind of go back and like try to navigate this if you're kind of confused or if I'm going too fast for you or anything. You can always view that video to try and make your way through this. So then this will show you like any of your core classes, right? That English, that math, that science, I believe social studies would be on the next page as well. Correct, there you go. Something to note here, I like that this is on this page here, is those 2 years of a foreign language. So I didn't mention that. Remember, in those graduation requirements, you don't need 2 years of a foreign language in order to graduate. However, four-year universities and Bright Futures do require 2 years of a foreign language. Most competitive universities, such as Florida State, UF, places like that, would like to see at least 3 years, if not 4 years. So just something to think about when scheduling out your electives, when scheduling out your time, is thinking about that foreign language. Okay. Here's some more of those elective options. Again, for the 9th grade, there's going to be options for the 10th, 11th, and 12th as well. And then there we go. There's all the different options for 10th and 11th and 12th grade as well. So what's nice about the curriculum guide as well, right? So there's these course description links. We at Spanish River have so many options for courses, which is both a wonderful thing, but can be also kind of overwhelming for our students. So here in the course description links, if you ever have any questions about what is that class, what do they teach, what do they cover, you can always click on this link to learn what is that class about, what do they cover, what do they teach, and this will teach you all of the different things. So you can always click on these links. Some of them even have videos as well from previous students from previous years that they've made the video to try and like show you, here's what this class is about, here's why you should take this class. They're really cute and fun. I suggest that you go watch those if you're ever interested in those classes. But I think pretty much every elective has a link there. So. And then on the last slide here, I think this is slide 28 that the students had to fill. So this is the link that students clicked on in order to select their elective options. So this is where that Google form that we mentioned before, there you go, you can see it there. That one that they can only fill out one time in order to select their elective options, okay? Remember that there's 6 options, okay? The standard amount of electives on your schedule is only going to be 3, sometimes even less, but you have to select enough so that you have some backups, because what if something is full? What if something's not offered? So we like to have some, what do you want? And then what would you want in the case of as a backup? So that's why there's 1 through 6. And then here's all of our staff here. Some of us are here on this slide. If you guys want to take a screenshot of this slide, go for it, or like take a picture of it, go for it. I'm Caitlin Wheatley, that's me. I'm the counselor here. We also have Ms. Havens and everyone. Something really to note on this slide is our college counselor, Ms. Riggle. She is wonderful, an amazing asset to our team and to our students here on campus. She's available by appointment here, and she is really, really wonderful here. So I highly encourage you guys to reach out to her if you ever have any questions with like college planning, making that college decision, filling out the FAFSA, Bright Futures, anything having to do with college, like go for it. She is really, really nice here. Okay. So like I said, we went over this presentation with the kids last week in their English classes. So they learned all of this. Most students filled out their elective choices last week.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for presenting, Mrs. Wheatley. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop recording, and we'll take any live questions. So hold on, let me stop recording.